Speaker, I must reiterate my deepest concerns that Rutland Water should now be approached with the utmost caution. It is no longer a safe environment, and necessary precautionary measures must be taken.
Order!
Arthur, you cannot seriously suggest that we tell our constituents that they must leave their homes, uproot their children, all for one unsubstantiated sighting of a large pussycat. Perhaps the Honourable Crow is suffering from an acute attack of kitty imagination. Perhaps his obsession for furry animals should be confined to the privacy of his own nest, where he can hatch another scaremongering story to fuel his emigration plans. Arthur, your attempt to relocate this house has again failed, and Rutland Water will and always will be a safe haven for generations to come.
If the Right Honourable Crow is so certain of no imminent danger, then I challenge him to come with me and revisit the exact spot where the cat was spotted. Rest on that exact branch. Be prepared to prove me wrong. Or has he turned into a chicken suddenly?
Despite your crude attempt at humour, yes, Arthur, I will accept your challenge and relish the prospect of putting this absurd fear once and for all to bed. Perhaps the black pussycat will enjoy a victory fly past.
I thank the Honourable Crow for his acceptance.
Crow speak!
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the Honourable Crow for his acceptance and propose we meet again at 7 a.m. by the great ash tree. But I will again reiterate my concerns that Rutland Water is no longer a safe place to visit. And in the event that we do not return by 7 p.m, a full evacuation should be implemented immediately. May I propose a vote?
Order! All those in favour? All those against? Motion carried. Should neither crow return by 1900 hours tomorrow, then the House will reconvene to initiate the safe evacuation of all constituents.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Tomorrow will be a day of discovery, a mission that is cloaked in danger, albeit that the Honourable Crow announces this, but danger there is, as I believe that the cat I saw is of no other kind I have ever seen before in this region. Our greatest philosophers have spoken of large cats existing in far-away countries. And so I commend to the House that the cat I saw was indeed what they call a black panther. Tomorrow will prove to be either the bravest or the most tragic in our Crow history.
Well, Arthur, let's get going.
Okay then, follow me.
Leaving the large ash behind, Arthur gazed on the patchwork of fields that lay beneath him. A vast carpet that stretched out into infinity in all directions. He was relieved that it was a clear and beautiful day, so that the cool air that passed over his body gently allowed him to glide effortlessly over the distance. Rutland Water glistened in the sun as if home to 1,000,000 diamonds. Since his first sighting of the water, Arthur had called this his spiritual home. Nowhere else ever felt like it. It was as if it contained all that was good in the world in one place. Until that day. Until his heart had stopped, as just beneath his branch the most fearsome creature was sleeping.
We're nearly there. Time to turn back if you're unsure.
I'm right behind you, you scaredy cat. Well, this is very pleasant, Arthur. A nice spot indeed.
Shh! We need to be quiet.
Well, I hope he arrives soon. I have a busy day planned. I'm not prepared to sit here for hours. I have important business to attend to.
As it approached 12 noon, Arthur had to declare that it was almost certain that there was not going to be another sighting. And although humiliated to accept that his story would now be discredited by the house, they ought to call a halt to this mission until another day. Strangely, he was secretly relieved that the big cat hadn't made an appearance, for he had been genuinely scared.
Right then, I'm off. Arthur, you stand defeated, and as such it must be agreed that there will be no more talk of big cats. This whole ridiculous situation has taken the house away from discussing more important issues.
Please! This ridiculous situation, as you call it, is still a major threat. And I will not rest until we take our community to safety.
Arthur! 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 You are sounding like some deluded warrior.
Don't Arthur me. I am not deluded, but a warrior, yes. And I will not take the cowardly approach of doing nothing to protect our community.
So, Arthur, the great warrior speaks, eh? Well, I'm going to see to it that Arthur, the not-so-great deluded crow, will be silenced. Enough is enough. Goodbye.
He'll regret calling me deluded.
Psst. Excuse me, but would you mind having your domestics somewhere else? Oh, I'm trying to get some sleep here.
Arthur looked down and froze. There, at the foot of the tree, the Black Panther was glaring up at him. What had they been thinking of to make such a noise? Their stupidity had now landed him in real danger. His whole body was powerless to move, let alone fight against the invisible vice that was now crushing his ribs. He was truly overcome with fear. With eyes locked into those of the panther, Arthur attempted to breathe again, but only managed a weak gasp, which hurt.
Ah!
You may well say, ah! Look, Arthur. You are Arthur, right? Well, as I see it, you're getting a rough ride, buddy. If you want to be a proper warrior, then you really need to seriously work on your final word strategy. There ain't no way you should have let that guy get away with that last rant. But anyway, if you're finished with your spat, then I'll get some more shut-eye.
What could I have said then?
Well, for starters, when he said, "Enough is enough," you should have gone straight back with, "Enough? I've only just begun, punk."
Really? I should have said that. Seems a bit rude.
That's warrior talk, Arthur. You sure you really want to be a warrior?
I didn't till now. Perhaps I'll settle for just being a crusader instead.
What's your crusade about?
Well, I need to convince the house that we should evacuate everyone because of the very terrifying cat.
Where? Well, I haven't seen it. Oh, don't worry, buddy. You just let me know when you next see it, and I'll have words.
What kind of cat are you, exactly?
Well, Arthur, I'm exactly a black panther. What kind of bird are you, exactly? Other than a squawky one.
Crow! You're right, we are squawky. I wish I wasn't. But there you go. We are what we are. Have you got a name?
Yes. Oncar.
Well, pleased to meet you, Oncar. What brings you to Rutland?
Can you keep a secret?
Oncar, you are talking to the king of secret keepers. I am the Right Honourable Crow MP in the House of Crows. I can most certainly keep a secret. Unless, of course, you would like an official confidential leak of said information, in which case I would need reassurances that my name would not be released or associated with said information. For in the event that it is said that I was responsible for leaking said information, which, of course, I would have been, you must categorically deny that I said it. Do you understand?
Right. Well, I think I understand. Now, you only tell if I tell you to tell. Otherwise, you tell nobody. Until I tell you to tell. And then, if you do tell, then I must tell everyone that you had no involvement in the telling.
Absolutely.
Well, in that case, my secret is I'm on the run.
For the next 2 days, the most unusual friendship developed. Oncar enjoyed hearing tales of the countryside, often thinking that perhaps this new life was going to be far more exciting than he'd originally thought. For Arthur, the friendship brought him a newfound confidence and self-belief. Who would have thought it? Arthur, the deluded warrior, actually had for his best friend the Black Panther. When they had done with sharing their tales and childhood memories, they often would begin again at comparing each other's strengths and weaknesses. But whilst Oncar was fascinated and jealous of Arthur's ability to fly, cursing his fur for not being feathers, Arthur was equally in awe of Oncar's power and physique, and felt cheated that he would never get to feel the softness of the ground beneath his body, or roll in the grass, and damned himself for being a bird. It took until the second day of playing the comparing game for them both to conclude that perhaps, whatever they were, the wishing for something different would always surface.
Oncar! Oncar!
I'm over here. What is it?
I've brought someone who would like to meet you.
As Oncar slowly emerged from the shaded area, his eyes met with the stocky frame of some kind of stripy pig. Although rude to stare, he couldn't help but be bemused by this creature.
Now, that is one hell of a coat you got there. Very snazzy. Are you new round here too?
Oncar, this is Badger, the wisest of all the animals around here. I've told him all about you, and he wants to help and keep you safe.
Welcome, Oncar. Arthur has been telling me about your fight for freedom and your cruel caged past. You are among friends now, but there is a lot you will need to learn in order to stay safe. There are two kinds of humans that you need to be aware of. Firstly, there are the Taurs. These are the most hated kind, for they kill us for pleasure, or enjoy seeing us scared. It would have been the Taurs that first captured you and put you in your cage. They sometimes visit Rutland Water, and we look out for each other. That is the only way to survive. The second type are called the Seablees. These are in the main harmless. They visit us and for most of the time enjoy spying on us, but always beware that even this kind of human can never be trusted, ever.
Badger is going to show you around and introduce you to the others. It's important, Oncar, if you want to stay and remain safe.
Well, hit me with what you've got, Badger. Let's go a-mingling.
Taking slow, meaningful steps, Badger led the way through the long grass and headed towards a reed bed which clung to the water's edge. Each head seemed to sway rhythmically like a metronome to the sound of the whistling wind, whilst the grasses danced to the same tune. Badger occasionally would stop, look skywards, and sniff the air with real purpose, before returning to his methodical walking pace, with Oncar following lazily behind and Arthur circling above them. Reaching a clearing amongst the reed beds, Badger took Oncar to the edge of the water, where they both stood in silence. Suddenly, without warning, Oncar was caught totally by surprise when the most beautiful bird he had ever seen swooped so low over their heads that he had to quickly dive to the ground for fear of being hit. Having no time to recover, the bird flew down once again, as powerful as any jet plane, to skim past so close they felt a gush of air rustle their coats.
Yo! Is this how he greets everyone? Is it safe to get up, or are we about to get bombed again?
No, you can get up. He will rest in this tree soon.
What kind of birdie is he, apart from one with attitude?
He's known as Captain and rules over all the airspace of Rutland Water. Without him, none of us would feel quite as safe during the summer. The house has the greatest respect for him.
He is an osprey, Oncar, one of the finest birds you will ever meet. Very regimented, and he likes everything to run like clockwork. So it would be inadvisable to ever keep him waiting. We will need to be patient, I'm afraid, and wait until he is ready to see us. His daily routine is as important to him as breathing is to us.
Ah! There he is, up there.
Gun-ho, Badger, old man. Frightfully good to see you again, what? Just need to complete a final lap clockwise before I retire for this morning's exercise. See you in a mo. Toodle pip.
If ever there was a flying clock, then Captain was that. By 6 o'clock sharp, he would rise and carry out his morning drill, comprising of flexing his wings by precision flying and catching succulent fish for his family. 12 noon was always the much-needed rest he needed before duty called again at 3 o'clock, when he would then inspect and carry out his secret surveillance work around the water and report back to Badger. At 4 o'clock precisely, he would bring fish home again for supper and be asleep not a minute past 10 o'clock. Each year, he would bid farewell to his friends in September, but without fail grace the skies again in March and begin the necessary refurbishment work on his holiday home in preparation for his wife to join him. Most certainly, the most reliable clock ever.
Okay, Roger, reading you loud and clear, cruising at an altitude of 300 feet with constant speed of 36 miles per hour. Fish at 3 o'clock with an estimated dive speed of 47 miles per hour. On target. Mission accomplished. Signing off for now. Roger and out.
Oh, get in! What a bird! Are you watching, Arthur? That is what you should aspire to, buddy. That is warrior flying at its best.
I've had to change my priorities recently. Being your minder has become quite time-consuming, Oncar. And actually, I had already changed my allegiance from warrior to being a crusader some time ago. But everything's changed again now. And as I say, I feel I have a ministerial duty to help you right now. It will be necessary for me to report back to the House soon and reaffirm my position as the South West Crow MP. And I want to go back in a blaze of glory.
You mean that the Right Honourable Bird wants to crow about me?
Very funny.
Little did Arthur know, but his absence in the House had divided the Crow MPs into two distinctive parties. On one side, there were those who believed that Arthur was too cowardly to return and be branded a liar, and demanded his replacement immediately. The other party believed that a respectful period of mourning should be honoured, as Arthur had clearly come to harm and been killed by the big black cat.
Thank you for seeing us at short notice, Captain. I know your time is precious, sir.
Oh, never too busy to see an old friend, or what? Good grief, Badger. One should always make time to see those important to us. Feelings of regret are hard to recover from, you know. Get my meaning? What? Now, how can I help you, old man?
I'd like to introduce Oncar to you, sir. For years he has been held captive by the Tors, but somehow managed to escape. He arrived at Rutland Water a few days ago, exhausted, but happy to have found sanctuary. However, his arrival has now put our water and us in great danger. For I am sure it won't be long before the Tors, perhaps aided by the Seablees, will come to seek him out, and they won't stop at anything until they find him.
What? Oh, man. Why didn't you tell me, Arthur? I must go, buddy. Sorry, guys. This isn't your fight. I'll get off. You take care, all, yeah?
My good chap, you will go nowhere. What would the world be like if we started to turn away from those in true need of help? Not the kind of world I want to live in, that's for sure, what? No, indeed. You must stay, but what is needed is a workable plan and a jolly good strategy, what? And teamwork. Teamwork, of course, that's vital. So let me think. Right, Badger, I will set flight at 1400 hours and notify the RWAC of my instructions and plan.
RWAC?
Rutland Water Animal Committee.
Ah.
Then you must take...
Oncar, sir.
Yes, quite. Oncar. Take Oncar on a journey to meet every member of the committee. Young man, there is nothing I say, that cannot be overcome to provide safety and security to everyone if we all work together. Do you understand?
You bet. I can't thank you enough, buddy.
Sir, Oncar.
Oh, sir. I mean, I can't thank you enough, sir. Sir.
Good man, what? Right then, Mustache need to be home by 11:58 at the latest. All good with you, Badger?
Yes, sir, all good.
Spiffing, toodle, pip.
They hadn't travelled far before Badger decided he needed to rest, and the dappled, dancing shadows beneath a nearby oak tree seemed perfect. Taking slow, lazy steps, he wandered over to his chosen spot and slumped heavily to the ground. Arthur was happy to perch above, whilst Oncar remained on guard.
Is it always as quiet as this?
We're on the peninsula, so it can be lovely and peaceful at times. No doubt we'll see a Seabley soon, and you will definitely need to hide, otherwise they'll tell the Tors.
What's that on the water in the distance? It looks like a bird flying on the waves, but with funny wings.
It's known as a yacht, and it's something that a Seabley sometimes will travel on. They never seem to go far, and aren't there all the time, so nothing really to worry about.
Perhaps they're envious of you too, Arthur, and the way you can fly very easily. Their yacht wings might be helping them to try to fly?
Their yacht wings, as you call them, Oncar, are called sails. They use them to fly across the water, not above it. You will see lots of these, as well as some stand-on yachts.
Windsurfers, Arthur. They are called windsurfers. They skim across the water using the wind as a source of power, Oncar.
Why do they want to do that?
Because they can. They're Seableys.
Not just that, Arthur. I hear that for some it is a need to learn new skills. The Seableys and Tors have a constant desire to keep learning. They will experiment and try new things all the time in order to become better and better.
Blimey, Badger. It must be great to know so much.
Having knowledge and being wise are two different things, Oncar. Unfortunately, they have yet to learn that.
Badger, I can see Harry training in the next field. Would you like me to ask him if we can interrupt him for a few minutes?
Yes, please, Arthur. Come on, Oncar. It's time to meet the secretary of our committee.
Oncar watched as Arthur soared high above, before swooping down behind the hedge next to them. Within seconds, Arthur had returned and resumed his position on Badger's back. From within the hedgerow came the strangest shuffling sound. Oncar pricked his ears up so he could hear better what he thought was some kind of heavy breathing. Suddenly, from out of the hedge burst the hare, punching his fists wildly in front of him, nearly knocking Oncar over.
Top of the morning to you, Badger. It's not like you wandering around in the daylight. That cat causing you some grief then?
This is Oncar. A cat he may be, Harry, but sadly he is a prime target for the Tors to capture, and, as you know, we hold an oath to protect all animals that live up the water.
And also, as a four-legged animal, he has the right to remain with us, and we have a responsibility to help.
Oh, trust a political bird to be chirping in. Haven't you got a nest you should be building somewhere? High up in the tree. Far away if you get my gist.
And you can save the sarcasm, Harry. for the next question time in the Cromans, when I will again be proposing a total ban on the cruel act of boxing.
Well, you had rather a loud mouth for such a little bird, Arthur. And it's a professional sport, I'll have you know, with months of training. Now, I haven't got all day. I'll have places to go and people to see. So unless you're about to make sense, or you bit off.
May I suggest that Oncar introduces himself to you, Harry? I understand Captain has already spoken to you about his plight.
He did indeed. And you can rely on me so you can.
Oncar, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Well, I'm really not happy that you're all willing to put yourself in danger for me, but man, am I grateful. I really don't want to go back to being kept locked up. The days seem so long and empty, and the pitiful cries from the other inmates would echo around and keep me awake at night. Most of them thought I was mad when I told them of my plan, but it worked.
Oh, so it did, comrade, so it did. And no one deserves to be locked away. Not in this day and age.
And tell them how you managed it, Oncar.
Well, I would pace for hours, just going round and round, so they got used to seeing me active. One of my captors, he was quite young, would often get distracted, and there were a couple of times I noticed he would forget to lock the padlock on the gates when he entered. So one afternoon, I stretched myself out in the cage and laid very still, acting as if I was dead. This caused the young captor to be concerned, and he came over quickly to see me. I let him push me around on the ground, lifeless, holding my breath until he was convinced that I must have suddenly died. He then did what I thought he might do, and left the cage. But not only did he not lock the padlock, but he also left the cage door open. When he was out of sight, I grabbed my chance and I ran as fast as I could out the gate, along the path, and then through a hole in the fence. And now I'm here.
Ah, the place you have come from, Oncar, is called a zoo. They are owned by Seablees who would not have harmed you. But you are here now, and this is your new home.
Oh, so it is, Badger. So it is. And as the secretary of this committee, I officially welcome you, Oncar, to Rutland Water. And may I suggest that you now become an honorary member to our committee. I'd like to nominate him, Badger. What do you say?
We would need to have the formal election process first. As you well know, Harry, it would be undemocratic to make any such a decision. And besides, our votes clearly would not count anyway, as a majority is needed to pass any legislation. But Oncar would indeed make an outstanding committee member, and I, for one, would fully support his acceptance.
Since when has the committee ever gone against any decision or recommendation made for a Badger? And since when have you become so righteous and honest all of a sudden? It would be a first for a Crow MP. No doubt about that.
This is not the debate, Harry. We cannot go against protocol or the correct proceedings.
Nonsense. Delaying the process of electing Oncar will only put Rutland Water in a more vulnerable position, so it will. And time is not on our sides, comrades. The Tories and the Seablees will be here very soon. And I doubt if it will be open to any negotiation, as they'll surely demand Oncar back, which is something we cannot and we must not allow. We have come a long way to make this water a sanctuary for small animals, and I, for one, would not let them be threatened by poor politics. All those in favour of making Oncar an honorary member, say aye.
Aye.
I think that...
Motion carried. Arthur, are you with us?
This is unethical and wrong.
Well, there you go, Arthur. Why change the norm? Welcome, Oncar. You are now an official member of the committee, and I salute you, my friend. Now, I'm losing valuable training time, and if we're finished, I'll be off. The fight starts at 7.
Yes, thank you for your time, Harry. It is much appreciated. And good luck for tonight.
Good luck for what, buddy? What are you doing?
You are looking at the heavyweight boxing champion for the last 4 years running. So you are. And my opponent tonight is a hare from Exton. A young'un that needs to be taught a lesson in manners, so he does.
Your boxing matches are unethical and barbaric, and nothing short of an organised punch-up.
And you'll be short of something if you carry on.
Right, let's go via the church, Arthur. I think that Oncar will be interested to visit there and meet the occupants. Thank you again, Harry. Goodbye for now.
Excellent idea, Badger.
Cheerio.
Although Oncar was bemused by the antics of his newfound friends and their strange behaviour towards each other, he couldn't help think that there was also the deepest respect held between them. And regardless of all Harry's bravado and Arthur's stubbornness, there was no trace of malice. He pondered over what Badger had said to him earlier as they'd made their way to the church. Oncar, he had said, in life's journey you will meet those who you will like and others you find totally disagreeable, but try never to lose integrity. If you can keep respect at the same time as harbouring feelings of dislike, then your actions will always be fair, and your negative thoughts won't ever destroy you. It was approaching early evening when they eventually reached Normanton Church, and Oncar was totally in awe of its majesty. The mellow evening sun now cast a golden glow over the still water, and the church, touched by gold, seemed to rise in fire. All around had a mystical aura that captured Oncar's imagination, and as he stood gazing at the surrounding flora and trees, he noticed how they elegantly touched the shore, as if gently admiring their reflected beauty in the mirrored water beneath them.
Oh, man. This is way out. Do you both feel what I feel?
It is said that the water holds many magical qualities, spiritual even, particularly around the church.
Beneath the water is a flooded village. Homes, trees, gardens, memories, all lost, all beneath the water.
All except the church. Some say that the bell can be heard ringing in the dead of night, calling for lost souls to return for healing.
The church is home to a group of our committee members who, let's say, are best as friends rather than enemies. Would you like me to go and get them and tell them that we're here?
Probably best if we stay together and make sufficient noise on our approach so as not to startle them. And Oncar, keep close to me for a while.
With Arthur squawking loudly, they made the pilgrimage towards the church. They had just begun to ascend up the slope when the most frightful black cloud was sucked from out of the roof and came hurtling towards them. As the cloud got nearer, Oncar set his eyes on the first squadron of flying mice he had ever seen in his life. He plunged to the ground as the animals swooped and skimmed within millimetres of his head, and the noise of their high-pitched squeaking became almost deafening. To his relief, after a few minutes, all became calm, and the black cloud of flying mice now circled a safe distance above them. What a most bizarre bunch, thought Oncar.
Good evening, gentlemen. May I introduce Oncar to you? Oncar, please meet our committee members who protect our nighttime skies for us. Although they do have individual names, they are happy to be addressed by their collective gang name of Bomberbats. They are held in very high esteem, Oncar, as they have protected status amongst the Seebleys and Tors. They are literally the untouchable.
And also the most unruly and disrespectful. You wouldn't believe the mess they make everywhere. Not only to this church, but every other church in the county. As a Crow MP, I have to turn a blind eye, unfortunately, as they are vital to the committee.
Yo, Black Cat! You causing some big headache for old Osprey, and we ain't keen on you for freaking everyone out. So, no big ideas wanting to flex those claws, you dig?
Oh, no problem there. I like digging. Very good at digging.
Gentlemen, Oncar is keen to make the water his home, and I suspect that as a committee we might well need to rely on Oncar's strength and muscle one day to help with our own survival. Your protection at night is greatly appreciated, as no doubt that will be when the Tors will try to strike. I have learned that they now use special torches that can expose our sacred night to help their searches. It isn't just Oncar who is in danger of this new device.
In fact, the Crow government only last month increased its terror alert to amber after an intrusion on the South Shore.
Yeah, blood, we heard about that, and we ain't gonna take no messing from them Tors. Otherwise, they'll feel our messing, if you get my gist.
You mean that you...
Sir, knowing that your surveillance at night is keeping us safe is greatly appreciated, and having an early warning system in place will make all the difference, I assure you.
You did for us, and we remember that, so we're here to help. Let's rumble, lads, and Black Cat, remember, no claws, blood.
It had rained during the night, and everywhere looked refreshed and re-energised. Brushing against the wet grasses, Oncar made his way to meet Badger and Arthur. They had all agreed after meeting the bats that some private time was needed, and Badger in particular wanted to enjoy a little bit of free roaming. On reaching the clearing, he could already hear Arthur deep in conversation, and Badger looked somewhat relieved by his arrival.
Oncar, reports have come in that the Tors were seen walking around the peninsula with guns and dogs. They have arrived much earlier than I had hoped. You are now in great danger. We have just 2 more committee members to see before we carry out Captain's plan. So follow me. We need to head for the woods.
With Badger leading the way and Arthur perched on his back, Oncar followed with a heavy heart. He'd never had any close friends before, and since being captured, there'd been no family to take care of him either. He'd always regarded himself as a loner, but here, at Rutland Water, he felt that he didn't want to be alone anymore. Not now that he'd found Badger and Arthur. And who would have ever thought that mere strangers would be willing to risk their lives for him? The Tors had already destroyed one world for him. He just couldn't allow them to take this one too. As they entered the woods, the carpet of ferns and bracken rolled out in front of them, and where trees had clumsily bumped into each other, there was a mottled darkness as their branches suppressed any daylight. Oncar heard what he thought was a conversation between the leaves and wind as rustles turned into whispers, as if in a foreign language, and he wondered if it was possible that the woods held mystical powers too. They were about 2/3 into the wood when Badger stopped and began sniffing the ground.
As I thought, Claudia must have moved house. Arthur, give her a call.
Claudia? Claudia?
There, is that her?
Good morning, Claudia. Thank you for meeting us. How's the family? I see you have moved.
Oh, hello. Oh, yes, we needed a bigger home for the children. I've moved nearer to that silver birch tree over there. You'd be very welcome to pop in any time. We always like seeing you.
Thank you. I will certainly do that, Claudia. May I introduce the newest member of our committee? Oncar. I believe Captain may have told you of his plight. Oncar, this is Claudia. Generations of her mice family have been living at Rutland Water, and you will never be far away from one of Claudia's relatives or army cadets, no matter where you go around the water. They are the best ground spies on the planet.
Oh, very pleased to meet you, Claudia.
Oh, pleased to meet you too, Oncar. Our little army is at your disposal, and if you ever need the safety of the woods, then come and find us. We may be small, but collectively we are a mighty force. For some reason, the Taws and Seablees find us really annoying, so we have to be cunning and smart.
Claudia has a heart of gold, Oncar, and her family and community have suffered and continue to suffer from the hands of the Taws and the Seablees. Dangerous, brutal traps are laid in waiting for them, and poisonous food put out to kill. Yes, indeed, the mice community know only too well the extent to these evil creatures will go to satisfy their need for cruelty.
The Taws and Seablees are very dangerous, Oncar. You must never let them fool you. But they will try. Don't ever eat any food that they leave for you, no matter how hungry you are or how nice it looks. Always walk away. It will be poison.
Do they ever come into the woods?
On occasions, yes, but they can never arrive without us knowing about it. Our army of field mice are always quick to report. Captain has said to keep Badger and the committee informed of any movement, and that's what we'll do. So no need to worry. You will always know when they are about. I don't venture out too far nowadays. I've grown quite nervous of roaming around, and I'm just happy to stay nearby. But rest assured, young Oncar, your Auntie Claudia will take care of you.
Oh, boy. Aren't you the cutest little creature? I've never had an auntie before. Yeah, I like it. Auntie Claudia. Hey, Arthur, I've got an auntie. Isn't that great?
Yes, it's marvellous. Let's hope she's not a deceased Auntie Claudia when the Taws come.
Oh,
Thank you for that cautionary note, Arthur. But by working together, we will collectively be stronger. And hopefully no one will get hurt.
looky here. Before anyone gets injured, I will go on the run again, or
There's a saying that us mice have, and it goes, when there's a battle, become a soldier, and when there is trouble, keep soldiering on. You mustn't run, Oncar. You mustn't give in. You must face the battle.
Claudia is right. And on that note, We must now excuse ourselves as we have one more visit to make before nightfall. Thank you as ever, dear friend, and please give my regards to everyone for me.
It's a pleasure, Badger. Take care, everyone. And remember, Oncar, if you need to feel safe, always come to the woods and find us.
Will do, Auntie. Will do.
As they worked their way out from the shelter of the shady trees and the cool darkness of the wood, Oncar had to blink several times to adjust his eyes as the bright sunlight blinded him. His encounter with Claudia had left him with the most unusual feeling in his tummy. It was a quiver of happiness, a feeling of belonging. Claudia was right. He would not run away. Not now that he had found a home that he loved and true friends he admired, and a little mouse that had become family. He now had an auntie. He thought about asking Badger who this last creature was, but decided to just follow instead, gazing now and then at the glorious blue skies, wondering if the pilgrim of wispy clouds above them, who despite having their own journey to travel, had decided to stay and accompany them for a while. Reaching a stony outlet, Badger gestured to Oncar to come and join him on a rocky platform that pierced deep into the still water.
I am now about to show you, Oncar, why Rutland Water is such a very sacred place. If you look deep into the heart of the water, you may get a glimpse of our guardians. These creatures live in an underworld that none of us could ever survive in. Rutland Water owes its life to the sacrifice that lies below it, the lost villages of Middle and Nether Hambleton. Arthur has probably told you the story about how this land was flooded, but he probably hasn't told you about the lost souls that remain here. You are going to meet some very special creatures whose entire lives are dedicated to helping the souls of those left behind in the lost villages.
When all this was flooded by the Tors and Seablees, they were able to remove the livestock, people and personal possessions. But in their naivety, there were some things they could never remove.
The houses, I guess.
You are partly correct, Oncar. The houses, yes, but more importantly, memories. Those buildings hold the memories of generations past, and now they are trapped beneath the water forever.
I don't understand. Are you saying that they weren't able to take the memories away and save them?
We're not saying that the Tors and Seablees didn't selfishly take their own memories away, but they left behind those of the building.
When a building becomes a home, then it becomes a living thing, Oncar. And below the water there are buildings that desperately want to feel alive again and can't.
They have become soulless and sad. The guardians are the only ones who can visit them and bring them any comfort.
That is awful. Why do the Tors and Seablees have to be so cruel?
You forget, Oncar, that without the water, none of us would have the life we have and the beautiful home we share. Through the sacrifice of those few buildings, so many of us are able to enjoy our lives today. What we must never do is allow ourselves to take for granted what we have, and never to gaze on the water without respect.
I think I can see movement. I think the Guardians have arrived.
Having arrived with a happy heart, Oncar now felt the weight of sadness pressing down on him. The tale about the soulless buildings had made such a dent in his heart that he felt slightly off balance and eager to meet these wonderful creatures. Leaning forward over the water, he saw them for the first time. A flash here, a dot there, a splash nearby. In front of his very eyes, he caught sight of them. Fish. Fish of all different shape, size and colour. The rippling water vibrated with movement as they approached ever nearer.
Thank you all for allowing us to see you. I'd like to introduce Oncar. I am in no doubt that the Tors and Seablees will be arriving soon, so I will make this brief. Their aim will be to try to take him back to his former life, behind bars. However, Oncar has fallen in love with our water and would dearly like to make this his new home. I have explained about the important role you do and the need to show respect at all times, of which he is more than happy to do. In the next few days, many of us who live here, our families, homes and friends may be in deep danger, and I ask for your help should we need it.
Greetings, Oncar. Hey, listen, Badger. Your danger's closer than you think, you know. There are at least 12 Tors with dogs walking across the dam this morning.
That's not good. They may soon pick up on your scent, Oncar.
If not already, we must move fast.
Well, I've got a plan, but I'm going to have to pass it by the others. The safest place for you, Oncar, is going to be near the water. Can you swim?
Yes, a little.
Oh, that's good. What I want you to do is find a sheltered spot where you can easily get to the water if you've got to. Now, if you're cornered, and if my plan works, we'll be able to help you. But do me a favour, will you? Just don't try and be a hero and fight, as you're no match for their guns.
I'm blown away with this, Mrs. Fish, but my legs can be really quite speedy when they need to be, and I could easily outrun them.
They will lay traps, Oncar. They will try and drive you towards other gangs of Tors waiting for you. Your legs will soon tire, and then our bullets will be faster than any running.
I've decided. We need reinforcements from wherever they can be sourced. So, I'm going to head back to Parliament and make a statement in the Cromans. I will return, but I may be alone if I can't convince them that Oncar exists. Take care, young Oncar, and I'll be back soon.
Thank you, Arthur. Safe journey.
Take care, buddy. And don't worry, I'm going nowhere.
As the afternoon sun started to dip, Oncar and Badger made their way along the shoreline, searching for a suitable hiding place for Oncar to stay. It might have been his imagination, but Badger felt that the air had suddenly become heavier, and it seemed that the ripples of the water were trying desperately to reach them, perhaps to lick their worries away, or maybe just to warn them not to stray too far.
This will do, Oncar. You can stride across those rocks and sit under the branches of that tree. I will need to leave you, I'm afraid, as I need to make sure that everyone is okay and be brought up to date with any news. If you run into any problems, call out and help will come.
I'll be just fine. Thank you, Badger, for everything.
Crouching beneath the restless branches of a willow tree, The chatter of a family of goldfinches gave Oncar a strange kind of reassurance that despite the horror of the impending arrival of the Tors, the little world around him right now posed no danger. It was only when the evening shadows had started to steal the last gasp of sunlight that he started to listen out for any sound, any movement, any sign at all that could alert him to anything approaching. With one ear on listening duty, he allowed himself to drift into a light sleep, for what good would he be tomorrow if exhausted? What was that? Oncar thought and sprang up from his sleeping position.
Oh, what?
Oh! Hello, Oncar. It's only me, Claudia. Badger asked me to pop along and see if you were okay.
Oh, Auntie! I didn't see you arriving. Yes, I'm fine. Any news?
The Tors came yesterday, but left before dark. There's one with a big hat who seems to be running things, and I've seen him before somewhere, so I suspect he might know the water quite well. Now that they've been once, they'll return. Maybe even later today, so you must stay here, hidden for a while. I need to head back now, before it gets too late, but I will be back again. Keep strong. Don't go wandering off.
No fret. I'm staying put. Thank you, Auntie.
Oi! Oncar! I know you're there, I can see you.
Where are you?
Well, where do you think a fish is going to be? In a tree? Down here to your right.
I know you're a fish, but I can't see you in the water. It's hard unless you move. Oh, got you now. Hi.
Hey, did you manage to get any rest last night?
A little, but my mind is racing and I need to stay alert.
Well, it was quiet, but today there might be some trouble.
I know. Claudia has just been to see me.
Oh, the little mice army's good, aren't they? I've got a lot of time for that, Claudia. And she seems to have taken a special shine to you, hasn't she?
We're family now.
Yeah, whatever.
Have you family?
We live in a commune, brother. We're all one big family. That's how we survive.
They say you are the guardians of the water and visit the buildings without souls. What are they like? The buildings.
Empty and slowly dying, but they will never be forgotten. Whilst we remain in this water, our job is to keep telling the tale of the flooded village and continue to ring the church bell.
You ring the bell?
Oh, aye, yeah. But only on them nights when we feel the need for the underworld to be heard again. Now listen up. We've agreed to ring it to warn everyone when the Tors attack. Well, that's what I wanted to tell you. The bells will ring out should the Tors dogs get your scent or you've been spotted. When that happens, you've got to come to the shore and wait for me.
Oh, and then what?
And then, Oncar, let's see if you can survive. You've just got to trust us.
But what can you do? Oi, where have you gone? Fish, are you still there? Fish. Fish! What if I don't trust you? What if I can't trust you? What if I don't know how to trust? Not even if I want to.
This self-confession was a new experience for Oncar, for he had never had to doubt his decisions before, or been placed in the vulnerable position of relying on others. But then he had never known friendship like this before, or faced imminent death. The morning sunshine brought a renewed courage, with the dark hours of night and the dawn chat with fish belonging to another life. The wind song through the trees elevated his spirits, How could such a place of beauty ever become a war zone? Perhaps the Tors had inspected the landscape and felt no need to return. Perhaps he could just lie here and soak up the sun forever. In this newfound relaxed state, Oncar soon drifted off into a deep sleep, waking only when a tap on his shoulder broke into his dreams.
Well, would you look at Sleeping Beauty? With not a care in the world. Wake up, you black kitten. I got some news for you.
Oh, blimey, Harry. What time is it?
It's time for you to listen. I'll listen hard. The Tors are parked up on the North Shore, but it's not looking like they're making any moves yet. Our sixth sense tells us that they will try and take us on later. My thinking is that too many of the little people paddling and roaming around for to make a fight of it. There'd be too many screams if they see blood, so they would. So sit tight, kitten, and we'll be back when needed, to be sure.
Thanks, Harry. Take it easy.
10 to 1 off Lauren with a left hook. I've worked hard for this moment, so I have. So see you later.
Yeah, see you later, Harry.
Despite having had the much-needed sleep, Oncar still felt exhausted and began wondering if this was a nightmare he would never wake up from. The Tors would certainly never give up looking for him, and once the dogs got hold of his scent, his days at Rutland Water would be numbered. Shaking his head vigorously, he let out a cry of despair, then another, and another. Falling to the ground, Oncar closed his eyes and fought back hot tears. Nothing had prepared him for this moment. Until now he had ridden on the bravado of the task, felt exhilarated from the adventure. But suddenly a torrid river of fearful thoughts began to flood his head. How on earth could he ever remain at the water? What if his friends got injured or killed? What if the Tors didn't capture him today? They would return again with bigger guns and more dogs. Then the final thought came. If he left tonight, no one would get hurt, and none of his friends would ever be in danger again, and Rutland Water could return to being the tranquil sanctuary that everyone loved once more. He had been pleased that Badger hadn't made a visit to him that day, as telling him of his plan may have appeared as a betrayal, and he didn't want any upset. The evening sunset had melted into the horizon, sending a warm breeze to coax the night clouds to visit. Turning his back to the water, he began his journey and secret retreat. Walking with a heavy heart, Oncar had crossed several fields, but it was on reaching a wire fence that his heart suddenly lurched and his body froze. There, in the distance, the bell of Normanton Church echoed across the water. The warning bell had been sounded. This was the signal he had been dreading. The Tors must be very close. Stretching his neck skywards, he let the night air filter through his nostrils. They were near, but just how near he wasn't sure. Without warning and piercing his concentration came the sound of frenzied barks, so loud and ferocious that Oncar felt totally disorientated. There was no mistaking. He had been marked, and like a trail of gunpowder, the fuse had been lit, and they were travelling straight towards their target, and on course to reach him soon. Time was running out fast. Unable to jump the fence, Oncar took full flight alongside its wide mesh, running with all his might through the tufts of grass, leaping over fallen branches, but still the barks got louder and louder. Turning a sharp corner, the fence came to an abrupt end and revealed the inconceivable. The Tors. Hearing the click of their guns and faced with two rifle heads locked into his eyes, he spun around quickly. Where could he run? The dogs were close behind and the Tors barred his way. The only escape route was the water. Suddenly, remembering what Fish had said to him, he darted down towards the shoreline.
Yo, blood! You get to the water! The cavalry's here!
With reinforcements, Oncar, the Crow MPs took a vote to help.
Oh, there's bats everywhere!
They're in my hair!
Lower your rifle, man! Bats are protected animals. We can't shoot them.
But they're everywhere! Are they bats or crows? I can't make out! Oh! One got me in the eye! Oh! And in the ear!
Oh, shut up and... Ow! Oh, get away! Get away! The panther! It's still there! I can see it! Quick! No, I can't see a thing!
Oncar's heart was racing so fast he thought each beat would break through his chest. Glancing back briefly, all he could make out through the commotion was the silhouettes of the Taurs leaping around with arms frantically waving to deter the antics of the swooping bats and diving crows. His flying friends had come to rescue him. But Oncar knew that he was far from out of danger, as reaching the water brought another dilemma: how to cross it. Although he could swim, there would be no way he could reach the other shore. He was trapped. Since his frightful encounter of the Taurs, his mind had totally forgotten about the dogs, but they hadn't for 1 minute lost sight of their mission. And seeing Oncar standing alone and vulnerable, all three of them made their attack. Defending himself from the right, a sharp pain in Oncar's left leg made him cry out. There was no way out. It was 3 against 1, and he knew that he was truly outnumbered.
Take that, you piece of warp muscle. And take that. And that. And that. Right. You want some as well, do you? You canine curse. Well, get some of this. And this.
Oh, Harry, well done. You floored 2 of them, buddy.
1 to go. Yeah, come here, you pooch. See how you like this. Quick, Oncar, get gone. The Taurs are gaining ground again.
But where can I go?
The water, Oncar. Look into the water. You must look into the water.
Without any further questioning, Oncar turned as instructed to face the water. Despite straining his eyes to look through the darkness, nothing stirred under the night's starless blanket. How he wished desperately that the distant shore was somehow near enough to risk swimming. Without turning his head, he knew the Taurs were very close. He was afraid that if he did turn, then the last thing he would see would be a bullet. He needed to trust Harry, so he continued to study the water, concentrating so hard it made his eyes sore. The familiar ripples became hypnotizing, so much so that he could have sworn that the far shore was actually getting closer. Blinking hard to clear his mind, he stood and gazed on the water again, but this time stared in disbelief. How could it be? The shore was getting nearer. He froze rigid, not daring to move in case it destroyed this incredible vision.
Oncar! Oncar! Down here! Down here!
Fish! It's you! I'm trapped! The Taurs are coming and I can't swim far.
Come on! You need to jump! Just go ahead, jump!
But where? Into the water?
Yeah, now! Come on, you've got no time left! Just jump! Jump now!
In blind trust, he closed his eyes and leapt high and waited for his body to hit the water so he could start swimming for his life. But the strangest thing happened. Oncar found himself on a platform made up of millions of fish. Within seconds, Oncar was seemingly drifting away from Harry, Arthur, the gang of bats, and most importantly, gaining distance between himself and the Tors. This magical raft of little fish had saved his life. They were taking him to the safety of the peninsula. In the far distance, he could hear the curses and confusion of the Tors, and a solitary burst of gunfire told him that they would not give up on their pursuit. Not now that they'd been able to trap him once.
I will be forever grateful, Fish. Thank you. That was one weird experience, and when I get the Tors off my back, I'd like another go sometime.
Yeah. Right, you're not out of danger yet. It's only going to take them 10 minutes in their truck to reach it over here. But we've done what we can for now. We'll stay close by just in case you need our help again. Just call out and we'll come and get you. Your problem will be that when the sun is now starting to rise, and within the hour it's going to get daylight, and you'll become a clear target for them, albeit a moving one.
Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. You know, I really wasn't sure what trust was before meeting everyone here, but it's a real cool feeling. I like it.
Trust, love, and loyalty are important to every living creature, Oncar. Nurture these for all you're worth and you'll thrive. Without trust, you will feel life. Without love, you'll feel empty. And without loyalty, you'll have nothing.
I will, buddy. I promise.
Oncar, say goodbye and follow me. We need to take you to Bluebell Woods. It's all part of the captain's plan.
Auntie Claudia, where are you? I can't see you.
Just under this shrub to your right. In fact, our whole army is on patrol right now. They are monitoring the Tors as they approach and will try and slow them down for us.
They will? Impossible. They are some seriously vicious dogs who are fast runners, believe me. Dogs and Tors are a tough mix to escape from.
Yes, but we are finding they can also trip up easily, and it's surprising what a sudden tug of undergrowth can do. I've had a report that all of them have already tripped over twice. But that said, we must hurry to the woods, Oncar, and meet Badger.
Badger? I thought that he might be lying low. I wouldn't blame him.
Badger is waiting for you, just as the captain ordered. So we must hurry, Oncar. Come quickly.
Just as the fish had predicted, the sunlight was already squeezing its way between the leaves and branches. Everywhere was being stripped of hidden protection now as the cover of darkness peeled back to give way to another dawn. With the scent from the flora and the glistening tears of the dew, the woods seemed even more heavenly than usual, and it crossed Oncar's mind that if he was to die today, then to say goodbye in such beautiful surroundings would be much better than being killed running away and alone.
Oncar, my friend! Over here!
Badger! I wasn't sure if I would get to see you again. The Tors had me proper trapped earlier. But Harry, Arthur, the bats and the fish, they'll save my life. Auntie Claudia says that the Tors are on their way, which means that you will be in danger too. I will really understand if you want to go and hide for a while.
Have you learned nothing, young Oncar? We are all committed to helping you, not just because we all admire your courage to escape, but because it is the right thing to do. Often doing the right thing is not the easiest, but the most rewarding, whatever the outcome. Now, come closer and listen very carefully to what I am going to tell you. It is very important.
For over 10 minutes, Badger and Oncar were locked in deep conversation, and their bond was only broken when Claudia came back to report again.
The Tors have been seen driving down on a little more, but is everyone ready?
Yes, thank you, Claudia. I think we are.
Good luck!
As the sound of the barking dogs got louder, the woods took on an eerie air, as if something really terrible was about to happen.
We've got him!
Tizer, Scar, come here, boys. Heel. Stand back. This badger looks like he could attack us.
It's killed the panther!
Put the dogs on the lead, and I'll try and take a closer look.
With the dogs secured on their leashes, the Tors made his way closer to Badger. He looked in disbelief at the amount of blood on the ground and gazed in horror at Badger's blood-stained mouth and claws. He stared at the lifeless body of the panther lying on the ground and with slow, deliberate steps encroached even further towards Badger, aiming his gun directly at his large head. Without warning, Badger leapt violently forward, trampling over the panther in his haste, his blood-stained teeth on target for the leg of the Tors. Stumbling back in total shock, the Tors fell heavily, letting go of his gun, which landed just in front of Badger.
It's gone mad! It's gone mad! Shoot it! Shoot it!
I can't! It's against the law! Look! It's picked up the panther!
Shoot it!
It's leaving! The panther's dead! Here's your gun. Come on, let's go.
No one could ever have predicted the events of that morning. Even the sun had decided to retreat in sorrow, and dark clouds began to cry. As the storm took hold and raindrops bounced with vigour off the umbrella of leaves, nowhere remained dry. Even when the rain stopped, Bluebell Woods remained deathly quiet and almost numb. Badger's last conversation with Captain had been filled with honesty and concern for Oncar's future, and he knew that if the only way to save Oncar from capture from the Tors required drastic action, then he must be prepared to carry out the ultimate sacrifice.
Badger? Badger, are you okay?
Yes. Thank you, Claudia. He narrowly missed me, but I had to do what I had to do.
Oh, thank heavens you're okay.
I thought that the Tors had killed you. Going in for an attack like that wasn't part of the plan. Captain won't be pleased.
They were determined to make sure Oncar was dead. I had to keep them away.
Well, it was still a pretty brave thing to do, buddy. If you had been injured, I would have killed them both.
I couldn't watch. I was so scared for you both.
Well, I'm so pleased it's turned out all right. And well done, Claudia, for collecting all those blackberries for Badger's fake blood. It really did fool them.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Oh, here's Captain.
Jolly good show, everyone. Well done all round, what?
Well, thanks to your ingenious plan, the Tors have gone away thinking that Oncar is dead and won't return again.
Oh, teamwork, Badger, teamwork. Nothing could have been achieved without teamwork.
And friendship, sir.
Most certainly friendship. What? Well, as everyone looks beefy and dapper, I need to leave the party. Oh, Harry sends his regard to everyone, what? Toodle pip.
Ah, and yes, and the Bat Gang said to call by any time, Oncar.
I will. And what's more, I'm going to make sure that no harm ever comes to anyone living at Rutland Water. For I am the Panther who now doesn't exist. I am the Rutland Panther.